I want people to see our pieces and see that there are amazing things that are coming out of this country and this continent.
We also do what we call mentorship. Now, mentorship is getting an elderly woman or an experienced woman who has gone through the ropes to come and speak to other women who are already in the manufacturing or who want to get into manufacturing.
I studied politics and philosophy at university, so the idea of my career trajectory was to enter development work, NGO work, which I did for a bit, and then I was an intern, and then when I was applying for the full-term position, they told me that, you need 3 years experience. And that same day, I went home, I was journaling, and God put that idea in my head, and He said, you're going to start a furniture business, it's going to be made in Kenya, and it's going to be called Savannah Space. In those 3 sentences. And I was like, okay, God, sure. I had joined a business course. I think it was a 3-month business course, and I was starting to understand, what entrepreneurship was. And that's when I decided that I'm going to change the business model. So instead of being a platform, I'm going to have my own showroom and make and sell my own furniture. Regarding where I got the money, the business course I was doing, they had a business plan competition at the end of the course. So you submit, you pitch, and I ended up being the winner of that year. And with that came a grant of $10,000, which is what I used to open my first showroom, build my first collection of furniture, and go from there. Like suppliers, for example, who won't necessarily take you seriously because you're a woman, especially when we're dealing with things like machinery, wood. But on the other hand, you do have people who, I suppose, are changing with the times and understanding that ultimately this is a business. But if I'm being honest, it has leaned positively a lot of the times. We do have incredible suppliers. We have a network of a lot of made in Kenya furniture businesses that are woman owned, especially the new ones that are coming up. So I'd say the times are changing and it is getting easier. If I look at other made in Kenya brands who I'd say are at a similar level or similar age as Savannah Space, I know all the founders, and probably 90% are women. We collaborate a lot. We don't view each other as competition. We see the competition as the people who are importing furniture from, other parts of the world.
We are doing all we can to increase that number, and that's why about 3 years back we formed the Women in Manufacturing caucus to enable us have this conversation about manufacturing, but more so relating to women. How to demystify the perception that have been created for a long time that manufacturing is only a male-dominated field. We are in Africa, and based on tradition, women never held titles. Titles are sort of a form of guarantees for when you have people taking loans. So that perception already makes the women not have the chance in terms of getting loans. And that is what we have tried now to demystify and have a conversation with the banking sector that is not all about the tradition. It's about who these people are and what their business cases are. We do a needs assessment to the women and then identify who among our partners can be able to train them. Mentoring session has been ongoing, and it's something that we do quarterly. We also design what we call one-on-one session with a certain group of people.
So this is one of my favorite pieces. It's made from elgon teak. Elgon teak is a wood that's indigenous to Kenya. It's very rare, very regulated, and we've made it using the end grains. And by end grains, I mean instead of using the plain part of the wood, we use sort of the side of it. So these are all individual end grain parts that are then faced up and then joined together to form this table. So it's really cool, really heavy, but I think it just shows kind of our eclectic side in a way. Another piece that I really love is this lamp. This is the Khadija lamp, and it's an homage to sort of Swahili culture, but in a way that's done in a modern way, I would say. So yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces. So this is the Oya pattern, and I designed it to mimic the feathers of the African grey parrot. This wood is moringa, which I think is really perfect for this pattern because it's a light wood, but then it has different tones. So some are dark, some are light, and it kind of mimics birds' feathers because they're not all one color. This is a home bar, really popular. And you have your spaces to have your wine glasses, your wine bottles, your shelf space. It's definitely one of my favorite pieces from Savannah Space. It's twofold. On the one hand, a lot of imported furniture can be quite affordable, which it's difficult to tell someone who is struggling economically, you should support local only, you shouldn't buy import when maybe import is all that they can afford. On the other hand, for people who can afford it, I believe that as Kenyans and as Africans, no one is coming to save us. If we don't support each other, nobody will. So this is the workshop. This is where we make all our furniture, or most of our furniture rather. It's an industrial-sized go-down, about 5,000 square feet. And we make a lot of our woodworked furniture here. We're about 15 people here, broken up into carpenters, sanders, varnishers and finishers, lathe work, and upholstery as well. One of the things I've been really blessed with is to have a great team that I can rely on, especially in terms of the carpentry and the finishing as well. So we work together to create that system where when someone joins the Savannah Space team, whether it's as a sander or a junior carpenter, there's a clear guide and elevation of their role. So if they would like to explore other parts of the workshop, they can. So for example, we have one artisan who came in and she was cleaning, and then now she's ended up as a sander and also as a junior carpenter as well. So we kind of create a system of, it's slow because again our quality is very high and it takes time to learn the craft, but we've created a system of slow elevation to different roles or better roles if the artisan would like to explore that.
Unaanza kujifunza hii kazi, kuna changamoto tunapata kama hujazoea, unapata mikono pia ngozi inatoka, damu inatoka, lakini ukizoea iko sawa. Sasa matumaini yangu ni nikitoka hapa hivi, kwanza before nitoke hapa nataka nikuwe engineer. After kuwa engineer, nami nitafute kazi yangu, hata nijiunge na kazi ya mbao pia. Yeah, nitafute workshop yangu.
Tuna design, ukitengenezea off-cut bado, hiyo bado ni design. Alafu pia mbao kama yani kujifunza kutumia off-cut, inakufunza pia in case kama mbao hakuna, unaweza fanya tu kazi pia.
So my goal for Savannah Space, number one, is to always stay artisanal. We'll always stay high quality, high end and boutique. We will never be mass produced. I don't believe in mass production, particularly of furniture as well. But I do want us to reach the global forefront. I want people to see our pieces and see that there are amazing things that are coming out of this country and this continent. Women-led businesses, they may not reach as high amounts of revenue as in comparison to the men, but relatively more of them succeed. And I think that's because women take more calculated risks compared to men. So when you get your foot in the door and you speak to these financial institutions, they do get an understanding of your business, your profit margins, your revenue trajectory, and it gets easier. But what is hard is getting that foot in the door. So even at Savannah Space, when I was raising funding, because we have raised, the only reason I found out about where to raise the funding was from the business course that I did, which had access to networks. That's the only way. I didn't hear about it from anybody else. So there needs to be more resources for women to get access to information where they can get their foot in the door.